Have you ever wondered how much retirement savings the average person has by the age of 60? Well, if so, you're certainly not alone, as that is also a question that I want to know the answer to, and I've done all the research and I have all those numbers for you here in this video. I also have some bonus categories of other age ranges and how much money they have as well, which I'll be sharing with you right here in this video. I'll give you a quick little hint. No, it is not in the millions of dollars. In fact, it is significantly less than anywhere near millions of dollars. In fact, it may even be way less than what you're actually thinking. Either way, I've got all the numbers for you here in the video. Let's get into it and talk about all the other people out there and how much money do they have, right? Do you ever wonder that? Hey, how much money does that guy have? Hey, how much money does she have, right? Do you ever see that and kind of wonder that as you're out in public? You're like, hey, I wonder how much money that person has. They have a nice fancy shirt on, right? They're driving a fancy car. I wonder how much money they have. I'm not sure if it's just you, but I wonder that all the time, right? I don't know if that's normal or not, but I certainly wonder that a lot with a lot of people. Anyway, let's get into it and talk through all these details. First up, thank you so much for liking and sharing this video with those buttons right down below the video. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, as long as you're down there, if you have not done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, first off, welcome and thank you so much for watching. Will you please make sure to subscribe to the channel as well? I'm here for you every single day. I'm talking about fixed income, low income, all kinds of benefits. Look at the videos here on the channel. I have thousands of videos, almost 5,000 videos here on the channel. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on right now. Thank you so much for being here and joining me. Really, really do appreciate it. All right, so really quickly, before we get into these numbers, as in the averages, I want to point something out really quickly, okay? First off, no matter where you're sitting right now, whatever age range you're at, whatever you're sitting at with retirement income, please do not feel bad about it, okay? Here's why I want to say that. The numbers I'm going to share with you here in this video are averages, okay? If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, you know my opinion on averages. Averages are a nice little metric. They're a nice little benchmark to look at, but really we should be looking at median, not average. Reason being is a few high numbers can really skew averages a ton, okay? So the point is, when you get an average, obviously you probably already know this, but let me just say it anyway. The way that you arrive as an average is you add up all the numbers in a different set of numbers, you add them all up to get one huge number, and then you divide it by the number of numbers that you actually added up, right? So let's just say that there's, I don't know, 500 numbers within a set. You add them all up. The sum of all those numbers divided by 500 gives you the average, right? So that's the problem with averages, because you could have, 10 different numbers and all of them are 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then there's a 1,000 at the very last 10th number, right? Well, adding those all up and dividing by 10 is going to give you a huge number, when realistically the bulk of those numbers was actually 1 and 2. You kind of get my point here? So averages can be very misleading. My point is, that's why we should really be looking at median numbers, not averages. But either way, we should still look at this because it gives us an idea. And either way, there could be people out there with a lot more money than the numbers I'm going to share with you here in this video and throwing off these averages significantly. I actually don't believe that the numbers I'm going to share with you in this video are actually realistic to the vast majority of the population. I would actually think that these numbers are probably significantly less than this. But again, just want to share with you, these are the averages that are out there right now as of 2024, okay? So yes, these numbers are current as of right now, 2024. All right, so let me run through the different age ranges here and how much money they have, right? Just like the example I gave you earlier in the video, I said, hey, there's a guy driving a fancy car, wearing a fancy shirt. How much money does he have? Well, these numbers will give us a little bit of an idea, okay? All right, so there's a couple different age range groups here. So the age range between 45 and 54, guess how much they have in retirement savings on average? I'll tell you. It's honestly not that much, even though it is a considerable amount of money, okay? I'm not discounting this amount of money. It certainly is. I think we'd all be very happy with this amount of money. I'm just simply saying it's not like a ton. There's no way you could retire on this amount of money, right? But it comes in at $115,000, okay? So the age range between 45 and 54 is sitting on $115,000 of retirement income, okay? Now let's look at the age range of 55 to 64. This group of people is sitting on $185,000 of average retirement savings. Now again, that's a pretty nice amount of money, nearly 200 grand. That's a lot of money. Now, this group, this age range that I just gave you also encompasses that original age range that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is the average retirement savings at the age of 60. So obviously I gave the age range of 55 to 64, which encompasses the age of 60. So right around that $185,000 $1,000 is the answer to that question. However, there's more age ranges that I do want to share with you here in this video, and an interesting twist a little bit later on in the age ranges, which again, I'll point out here in just a second. Now, let's move on to the next age range, which is 65 to 74. This age range typically has about $200,000 in retirement savings. So again, not bad. I mean, that's seriously, that's a really nice chunk of change right there. $200,000 in retirement savings. Now, I want to point out another age range here because this is actually pretty interesting. Now we move out to the ages of 75 plus. Guess what it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be 250, 260, 270? You would think so based on the numbers that I just talked about. However, it actually plummets. It goes from $200,000 from the previous age range down to $130,000 for those people that are aged 75 plus. So what does that tell us? It's telling us that typically most people kind of around that age 75 or older are probably spending a lot of their money, any of their retirement savings. I would anticipate most of that is probably going to healthcare, medical, things like that. Probably a lot of money is going out the door because of those reasons. But again, that's just kind of the, the blanket statement I want to throw out there. I would generally think that's where a lot of that money is going. So you can see there in that that last age range that I gave you, a lot of the money, a lot of the retirement savings that somebody has typically starts going away probably right around mid 70s, and it goes down a lot, right? Now, that's kind of interesting. Again, I like to look at these numbers because I want to see what is the health of the, the people out there, retirees and everybody like that. Now, again, for the bulk of the people that I talked about here in these different age ranges, this is just money that is set aside in retirement savings. And again, fill in the blank with all the different details of this retirement savings. It could be in, cash equivalents in a checking account, a savings account, a money market account. It could be in CDs. It could be in mutual funds. It could be stocks. It could be 401k, IRAs. Again, the list goes on and on. There's a ton of different options that this could be sitting in, but this is what they're defining as retirement savings that is set aside. So again, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit here and be like, $115,000, that's nothing. 200 grand, that's nothing. I'm not saying that at all. These are big, big, big amounts of money. Any of us would be very, very happy with any of this amount of money setting aside, right? But at the end of the day, I think a lot of us, and again, maybe it's just me, but I think a lot of us kind of wander through our lives looking at different people out there that we encounter across, when we're out in public or doing things, and we think, everybody else has so much money and I'm just broke and I'm just having a hard time. I don't think so, okay? I really, really don't think so. I do not think that is the case whatsoever. I would be willing to bet the vast majority, the vast bulk of the population is probably struggling financially, and there's a few people out there that are doing pretty good, raising these averages up significantly, okay? That's my opinion on that. Again, why we should look at median retirement savings versus averages. I think if we were to compare median retirement savings versus average retirement savings side by side, I think we would have a very, very, very different picture than these numbers that we're looking at right here. Who knows? Maybe I'll make another dedicated video talking about that because I think that is something we should really be looking at and pointing out because the numbers I guarantee you are going to be very, very different because all it takes is a handful of very, very wealthy people to throw these numbers significantly out. Somebody sitting on, say, 10 million, 15, 20, 25, $100 million in retirement savings, which yes, some people do, and some people have billions as well. Somebody sitting on that amount of money would throw these averages off like massively, like way, way, way more than you could ever possibly think, right? That's why median retirement savings actually gives us a much better picture. It just points out the middle number in the massive equation here versus just adding it all up, dividing by numbers, and then boom, we got an average, right? So anyway, does that kind of help you out? So again, I find it to be pretty fascinating, and I like to look at all these numbers too as well because as we move forward into the future, technically these numbers should continue to increase because as incomes are supposed to increase, as wealth is supposed to increase over time, years and years that go by, we should be seeing these numbers increasing. But we're not really seeing these numbers increase. What does that tell you about the health of the consumer, the health of the American people? It's just not there financially, right? Does that kind of make sense? Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Please, as always, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. Like the video. Share the video. Again, buttons down below. Thank you so much. Also, check out any of the other videos here on the channel. the thousands in the video library, the ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now, pop on up on your screen, you'll see some videos there as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Have a nice day. Enjoy, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.